Hey everyone. If you're like me at all and you have Aquarius, if you have a lot of fire and air in your chart, things have been a little bit rough as of late. Really rough for everyone. And I'm going to show you why things have been rough, why things have felt confusing, why things feel like they're not moving forward. Because there's a lot of undoing right now, like in the sky and stuff like that. So I know that when I have times of feeling confused or feeling like frustrated or feeling like, oh my God, like freaking out about things, right? Astrology can really help me to put my mind at ease, knowing that these are transits and these will be over, in the future. So it gives me hope. So I'm hoping today to share some transits to give you some hope. I'm also going to share you some transits that hopefully you will find helpful. Um to yeah, just let me share my screen. We're swimming right now. Mercury's in Pisces, which means Mercury's in his fall, which means that logic isn't logicking, right? It's not logicking. Things are not feeling step by step because it's in Pisces, the water sign, which is like floating, right? You're floating in a sea. There is no anchor, right? So thoughts are like swimming everywhere. Probably more people are getting high because that's another thing that Pisces be doing. They get high, they get drunk, not like 100% of the time, but Pisces struggles with it more than others. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the transits, why they've been a little bit confusing, and I'm going to talk about Neptune a little bit coming up because Neptune's going to be a biggie. It's going to be a big transit. And if you have Aries in your chart, you're definitely going to want to listen to me about this. And if you have Pisces in your chart, definitely listen to me about this. And yeah, so let's just get going. I'm gonna share with you the transits and I'm gonna share with you my screen. And I'm just gonna ramble at you and I'm just gonna tell you what's popping and what's coming up, okay? So 3:30, March 30th, 2025. I was just talking about Neptune, and that's when Neptune goes into Aries. But right now, right? 2:20, 1:58. That's when I'm doing this right now. You can see the time. Um, what we have going on is there's Pisces, right? Or sorry, yeah, here's Pisces, the sign of Pisces. The sign of Pisces is very into poetry, music, animals because they understand animals because even though like animals can't talk, you're reading the intuition, you're reading the vibe of something, of a person, of people, right? If you've ever seen people like jamming, like in a band or whatever, probably a lot of them have Pisces or they might have like 12th house stuff, which is a Pisces ruled house. And you're like, they're just like feel reading each other. So Pisces is not good at communication because it's a struggle, right? What happens when you're like, yes, I like you, but there's all these other complications, right? That's kind of what Pisces lives in. And Pisces doesn't know how to talk about it, or it's harder for Pisces to like really talk about, really enunciate. They can communicate things usually better in like song, right? Better in poetry. Poetry is an ideal way of communicating. So maybe during this transit, this Mercury and Pisces transit, which is like he's going to retrograde. He's going to go into Aquarius and then retrograde back. So when he's retrograde in Pisces, oh my God, that's like extra. That's extra, y'all. Extra hard time logicking, being straightforward, right? Because it's in a water sign and it communicates via poetry. Poetry is not written straightforward. Poetry is written in, allegory, metaphor, right? Because you're trying to communicate or convey a feeling. That's what you're trying to do. So, Pisces, it's not your fault. This is just what it is, right? Other signs get frustrated with you because of these things, but it's fine. Every sign has their thing that other signs are like, oh my God, just say words, and they can't. So Pisces is here. Pisces is in his fall. So we're having a hard time openly, directly communicating. Pisces is, or sorry, not Pisces, Mercury. See, I'm already slipping. You can see even as I'm like talking about this, I'm like floating. Feels confusing. Mercury in Pisces. Now, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and the ruler of Virgo here, right? Those are where Mercury does his best. He does his best in the sign of Virgo, right? Because then he's making tangible communication. He's making written communication. He's making clarity. He's analyzing the data and he's putting the messages where they need to be, handwritten triplicate, right? That is Mercury's bag, right? Relaying messages. Um, and then Gemini, well, they're super clever, right? They can relay messages in different ways. They will use it in clever ways, even, right? Like the color red was loud, right? Like, can red be loud? No. But am I speaking in a kind of like funny, witty banter? Yes, right? Gemini can quickly do that, right? What Pisces, Gemini and Mercury and Pisces wants to do is to be able to do that, and it can, but it has to do it like slower and with space, in its own space, not with like other people. Exactly. So Mercury is having a hard time communicating, and he is the ruler of Gemini. And look who is in Gemini right now. Well, we've got Jupiter. Hey, Jupiter, Jupiter, the god of beliefs, the god of optimism. Think of Zeus. Zeus is a little bit philandering, right? He's not faithful or monogamous with his wife, right? Because Jupiter needs freedom. And Jupiter likes order, like spiritual order. Jupiter likes morals, right? Those are the things that Jupiter likes, which is funny. I'm saying morals, right? Because he's known for that. And then you have, Jupiter philandering. Jupiter in the sign of Gemini is in his detriment. He has a hard time in Gemini. Why? Because Jupiter gives more, gives expansion, right? Did you have one idea? Well, Jupiter is expanding it and making it 5 million ideas now. And so now you've got to choose one. Narrowing it down is hard. So narrowing down communication is really hard right now. um, Finding a solution, right? Jupiter's the planet of solutions, right? That's what he wants to do too. He wants to solve for problems, right? He's the god on the Olympian mountain, and he wants his people to be happy as much as possible. And he really likes to support those who support him, who like pray to him, right? Who are good to him. But in Gemini, there's too many options, and then Jupiter just makes those options more, makes those options bigger, which only adds to the confusion, right? Which option is the correct option? We're just kind of spinning wheels a little bit here, which is rough. It's rough. So Jupiter is not happy exactly, or he's having a hard time. I mean, Jupiter can be happy, but having a hard time communicating, being logical, learning or processing thoughts, having linear thoughts. So if your mind is like, what is time right now? This is a part of the reason why. The other thing we've got going on is, let's see, nobody's really in Virgo right now, not so much. I mean, planets anyway. Also, here we've got Saturn, and Saturn wants to ground down. Saturn wants to make reality. Pisces is a soft sign, it's a sensitive sign, it gets its feelings hurt. So when you have Saturn there, Saturn gives like harsh realities, harsh words, right? Harsh wake up calls. And so those of us who are sensitive to other people, other people's play, we're kind of watching the harsh reality of what's popping right now. So harsh realities, right? Hard words. When this Mercury gets up to that Saturn here, um, I think let's go a week ahead, right? Then we're gonna have what's called a conjunction, right? We're gonna have I gotta go back in time. Okay. Back in time, right? What the fuck is time, y'all? All right, so Mercury is headed towards that Saturn. And here we go. So really like on the 24th here, 24th, 25th, we're going to have a Mercury Saturn conjunction. So on this day, like the 23rd, 24th, 25th, uh is a little bit extreme. So from like now to like the 25th, 26th, that's like harsh thoughts. You may find yourself thinking harsh things about yourself or about others. So understand that there's a reflection happening. So when you look at water, not necessarily ocean water, but when you look at water, you can see yourself in the reflection, right? Water reflects. Water holds, water absorbs, water also hides, right? You can't see what's in the fucking ocean usually. So it's kind of things happening behind the scenes as well. There are conversations about how to structure, right? Saturn is structure, things that we won't be privy to until Saturn comes out of Pisces and into Aries, and then we might see more of the behind the scenes conversations that are happening right now that have to do with things that govern us, right? Systems, things like that. So if you are feeling harsh, I have definitely been feeling harsh, not only to myself, but my tone can't stop being harsh. Like I'm like, ah, recently, like I just can't stop feeling bitchy inside. It's really a challenge right now. So if you're feeling that way, know that other people are feeling that way too. If you are a Pisces, if you are a Virgo, that's the opposition. I've got a lot of Virgo. So this is opposing you. So then you'll be really experiencing it, right? If you have squares. So if you have a mutable sign, right? Gemini and Sagittarius, right? These two mammer jammers. This action is squaring you, which means you have to do something about these harsh words. You may be like feeling like, oh, I've got to do something now, right? But then everything is kind of slowed down, right? Because currently Mars is retrograde, so our action is based on reflection and looking toward the past, not the present, right? When Mars goes direct, then we'll start to see more action happening. Um, so be patient with yourself if you're having harsh words. Remember that if somebody else is using harsh words or a harsh tone with you, that this is a hard transit, right? Not that it's, excusable or forgivable, right? Don't allow somebody to be horrible to you. Please, please, please. I magically wave my little wand. Please don't let it happen to you. Um, but yeah, so have grace for yourself, have grace for others. If you can find the time to meditate, right? If you can find the time to breathe, air signs, please breathe. That will add space so that you can make a better decision. Now, about that Mars I was just talking about here. That Mars is in his fall, right? So Mars, the god of, I want to take action. Now is the time. It's up to me, right? Mars wants to take the direct route. It wants to be open, direct, honest. It wants to win. It loves competition. It loves battling. It respects and values that, right? If you've ever seen like two people fighting or like a boxing match, right? If you've ever seen that and you have any Aries or Scorpio in your chart, you'll be like, wow, that was a good fight. Whereas like other people without those things will be like, ew. Or if you don't have any first house or eighth house stuff. Anyway. So Mars is in his fall. Mars has a really hard time being direct, open, and honest because in the sign of Cancer, he's got to be nurturing. He's got to be, he can be extra harsh here too, because cancers are hard on the outside, soft on the inside, and they like to razz, right? And they like emo music, right? They don't speak up for caring for themselves very often. They will care for others to their detriment, right? So Mars is motivated here to care for family, to care for nurturing, but also to be anti-family and anti-nurturing, right? Like Mars, wherever he is in your chart, gives sort of an anti-vibe or a severing vibe, right? For example, Gemini people, they love to read. If somebody has a Mars in Gemini, they usually struggle with reading. It makes them frustrated. Mars creates frustration. So, Mars is controlled by the moon, and the moon, every 2.5 days, she is going through these signs, right? Which gives an up and down feeling. 2 days I'm good, 2 days I'm bad, like it can give a roller coaster ride of emotions. So Mars is particularly moody, but he's not moving forward, he's looking backward. So it's hard to know what action to take right now. Yes, I'm frustrated. Yes, I care for people. I don't know what action to take, right? I don't know the best course of action. And because I care so hard, right? Or because I care about what my mom thinks, right? Mars and Cancer. And I fight with my mom. Mars and Cancer. You got a Mars and Cancer, you definitely struggle with your mom. It's a thing. Or you could be competitive with your mom. Like that's a way to do it, maybe in its better expressed ways, but it's rough, It's kind of frustrated with caring, frustrated with feminine, frustrated that it cares, right? So Mars is going to be going direct here in like a few days. I know that 22, 23. Okay, 24th. So in a few days here. Mars is going to go direct and Mars is going to be really potent. So anytime a planet is stationing, so he's going from going backwards, right, or appearing to go backwards to stationing, it's a big planet, it's a fucking planet. So now it's got to shift, right? It's stationing, we are shifted. We are actually the ones shifting, but Earth is shifting and it looks like Mars is standing still. And then Mars is potent when it's standing still and getting ready to go forward. All planets have this moment of potency, right? Where they get like louder. So frustration right now is getting louder over these next few days. Loud. And that's why we're also feeling this more of an intensity, more of an intense frustration. If you have Aries or Scorpio in your chart, especially if it's your chart ruler, you are a Scorpio ascendant or you're an Aries ascendant like myself, your tone be harsh. Your internal dialogue, right? You want to fucking scream, right? Like, because Mars is frustrating you. And I'm really sorry. Go for walks. I went for like a super long walk yesterday and I walked more rapidly and I really made myself sweat. Do that because that will help to move that energy through. If not, you're gonna take it out on other people. It's what's gonna happen. And then you're gonna feel bad later for the things that you're saying and doing now because you're not dealing with the aggressive energy in here, right? Go fucking join it. Let this make you want to join a gym. Please do that. So that's popping. Um, I know that if you have a Crunch near you, Crunch is like $9.99 for like a basic, so $10 is not the worst. But again, we've got inflation popping, right? Good stuff is coming in the future, I can tell you that now. Things won't always feel this awful. In fact, in June, things should be feeling a lot better because the benefics, this Jupiter goes into Cancer where he's exalted, and then this Venus, who's in detriment right now, we'll talk about that in a second. She's going to move into Taurus. So that'll feel better as well. But for the now, what we've got is Mars, moody Mars, controlled by the moon, feeling roller coastery, getting ready to go forward and feeling frustrated that he's got to wait to go forward, right? So another reason why you're feeling frustrated and breathing, sweating, do that. Venus. So Venus, the goddess of love, right? Love, right? The goddess of harmony, balance, beauty, the goddess of massaging Mars, right? She's the goddess of making Mars, sort of her counterpart in a way, feel better, right? Only she can't do this. She's in his house. So the only way she can make him feel better is by speaking in his language, which can be kind of frustrating and kind of bitchy, kind of fighty, kind of combaty, right? So softness even is coming across as rar, right? Like, oh my God. It's so much. As a double Aries. I can't make my tone be good. It's a challenge. I have to tell people, oh, BT dubs, I know my tone is much more harsh than normal. Um, I'm aware of this. Just bear with me, right? Bear with me till like the 25th, 26th, you know. You can use this transit for severing though. So if you've got to sever, you know, relationships, this is a good time to do it. But also, you may sever something and then regret it later because Venus is going to go retrograde now. And now she's going to be like, wait, no, but we love that person. So, this is why things are frustrated. This is why some of the people you know are extra right now. Give them grace, give yourself grace, meditate, sweat. Boom. Okay, there you go. That's what's up. And yeah, so I want to talk about that. So I want to talk about Neptune, but I think I'm going to talk about Neptune in another video, maybe in next Friday's video. I'm totally going to record that right after this. So I'm going to talk about Neptune in the next video. So join me for next Friday or next Thursday. I think I'm going to put them on Thursdays now. So next Thursday, tune back in, and I'm going to tell you about Neptune. And you're going to want to hear about Neptune because Neptune is a really big shift. Neptune spends, like 13 years, 15 years in a sign. So it makes a whole chunk of a shift, right? And Neptune has massive implications for love, massive implications for movies, movie theaters. If you're a person who makes movies, enjoy movies, you're going to want to listen to this. If you are a person who has Pisces, a lot of Pisces in your chart, you're going to want to listen to this. And if you are a person who has Aries in your chart, prominent Aries, you are gonna want to listen to it. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna stop this recording and we're gonna post this action. And then you're going to join me again here next Thursday. And I'm going to tell you about Neptune and what to expect. If you are familiar with soulmates, if you are familiar with the terms of like twin flame, right? Things like that, have I got some news for you. So until next time, yeah, yeah, babes, next time. Bye.